And welcome to Crypto Morning, Saturday, September 21st, 2024. The market's taking a breather. We hit 88s on the US S&P 500 and Dow Jones Thursday. There's some profit taking, but it's so minimal it's actually a good sign for crypto and the weekend trend. What's interesting is we're seeing a slight resurgence, a bit of a buzz, a renewed enthusiasm because altcoins are really picking up, and even some older ones. VeChain's bouncing back pretty nicely, and Atom's showing signs of a turnaround too. The S&P 500's down just 0.19%, basically flat. It dipped lower during the session but stopped buying despite the ATH, so that's pretty positive, I think. We'll see next week if this trend continues, but we're ending on a good note. Similarly, the Nasdaq is down 0.36%. Circle for me will be the IPO of the year. It's set for early 2025. It's USDT's biggest stablecoin competitor, and it's going public. This is great because we'll get official figures and all the details about their profitability and such. We know stablecoin companies are huge cash machines, and even many banks are getting involved. It'll be super interesting, the first publicly traded stablecoin company. We'll keep an eye on it, but there's a consensus for late 2025. Interestingly, it's about the same for the end of this year. Many say we'll hit an ATH by year end, especially the symbolic $100,000 mark. There's a consensus around $200,000 before the end of 2025. No one's certain as we see the bull market ending, maybe September to November, but it's just my thought. It could be in April, we really don't know. And let's not forget the Fed and all that are behind us now. In 6 weeks, we'll know who'll be the next US president. I think it'll have some impact, mainly if it's Trump. That'll be the icing on the cake. But even if it's Kamala Harris, we'll have our bull market anyway. Now, this is really interesting. I mentioned OpenAI earlier, which is going public, I believe, in early 2025. It's going to be fascinating because OpenAI has JGPT, an Asian decentralized competitor, similar to Bitens's approach. We have some figures. Asia has $200 million in computing hardware, while OpenAI has $1 billion using the rule of 3. JGPT could be worth 20 and 30 billion. That's quite an impressive valuation, I'd say. Now, MicroStrategy is getting wild. I think globally we've all aimed to own at least one Bitcoin to say we're part of that exclusive 21 million club. But this guy, his goal seems to be owning 1 million Bitcoin. Incredible. He's at 252,000 now, just bought 7,400 for 458 million. And I saw he made $1 billion loan with MicroStrategy. He still has liquidity, double that if he wants to buy more. His average purchase price after starting to buy in 2020 is around $36,000. That's his strategy. He still has $1 billion in cash. It's accelerating, but BNY Mellon, one of the oldest American banks based in New York, is entering crypto with custody services. It's a huge step being taken. Beyond offering ETFs, they're now providing services. I think it's a major shift in the US banking sector. They're going all in. Whether this will happen in Europe, I'm not sure, but it's a big turning point that's unfolding. Banks are going all in, I'd say. We've seen it with ETFs, but now it's also storage services, RWA projects, you name it. I'm not sure what to think. Charles Hoskinson, Cardano's CEO, has a meeting with Argentina's President Javier Milei. We'll see what comes of it. It could be good for Cardano as nothing's really happening there. Good news for Solana. 2 major banks, Citi, one of the largest banking networks in the US, and Franklin Templeton, a huge fund we often discuss, are both working with Solana. Franklin Templeton will launch a retirement fund on Solana, and Citibank will also launch products. It'll likely be RWA, often involving bonds and funds. So, this is positive news for Solana overall. Looking at the market, we saw prices dip a bit. We see that Bitcoin's up 0.55%. What's becoming clear is AI's strong comeback. Tao's doing well around 411, with insane volumes of 182 million. It's nearing the top 20, top 29. Interestingly, it's also performing well. Let's check the chart. At 22nd position, we see a back. Let's look at the one with absolutely crazy momentum. We see Aptos, GRT, old tokens resurfacing. The volumes are super interesting, 36 billion. These are very impressive volumes, up 19 billion compared to recent weeks and last month. These are massive volumes. I think we're circling around key levels. When we look at Bitcoin, you'll see we're fighting to break through the 64-65 zone. It's crucial. Look, we messed up day before yesterday. This is yesterday. Maybe we'll form a small bull flag before taking off. We might hit an ATH before month's end, based on my market analysis. No one expected this ultra bullish scenario, including myself. We could reach ATH in September. Pleasant surprises are possible. We might get rejected at the 200-day moving average a few times typically. Rejections last 2 or 3 days max, so we'll know soon. I think we'll find out quickly. We see the 200-day moving average, and FTM is doing the same. It came from far below, recovered and tripled from its lows. It's blown past everything, and now faces its final hurdle before potentially soaring higher. I haven't checked others. Bitcoin and FTM are similar, with the 200-day MA as last resistance. After 75, we hope for a very positive trend. Ethereum, while underperforming, shows a first signal. You can see it's lagging behind. It's barely touching the 50-day moving average. A currently buried token like Tom Crisoso finally shows a real signal, also approaching the MA. Following Tau, you see it's outperforming Bitcoin and even Fetch, though still behind Fetch. Given its momentum, I think it'll surpass Fetch soon. It's exploded upwards. It's confirmed the range breakout for 2 days, and in 24 hours, it's broken the MA. Tau's leading the market for 3-4 days now. It's great to see. We'll watch for days to ensure it stays well above the 200-day moving average and these levels. We might see a pullback soon. It could be the last chance to load up on Tau. CKB is facing rejection for now. This is the first test. As we said, the 0.20 zone is crucial. We're seeing rejection, but it may retest soon. About VeChain, I mentioned this pattern a few days before it formed. It was risky, but if it broke out, it could really change the outlook, and it did. If we follow the theory, we could revisit previous highs. IMX is looking good too. It's slowly confirming the inverse head and shoulders pattern. Lastly, this one, not a project I like, but the chart looks very positive. First, it hit a high of $2 on listing day. Then we saw a low. We then saw a new all-time high surpassing the previous one. Here's a low that's higher than the previous low. Logically, it should break past $2.20 at least, surpassing its previous high. That's the simple analysis. I'm not investing, but the pattern looks very positive. That's all from me. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you soon. Ciao, everyone.